This is a video about how to deal with the water pump down here at the lake. It's in this box. I've taken the lid off the box, that's the lid. I'm going to show you the parts that are here. You have the pump itself. You have the outtake hose, the one that goes out of the pump and up to the irrigation system. It actually goes first to a little box that's by the Argentinian barbecue stove there, but that's not for us to deal with. And water comes in from the river through here into the pump. So you can see this hose goes all the way down to the river, and at the end of the river there's what's called a foot valve, which is a long metal tube with holes in it, and when the pump is on, water gets sucked up through the tube but can't go the other direction and comes up into the pump. Water gets pumped into the hose and up to the sprinkler system when it's on. It can be disconnected here. I don't usually do it, but it might, maybe, I didn't do it, it wasn't done this year. Things seem to be okay. It can be disconnected just with these clips, which might be a good idea to do in the fall. There's one more part, that's this peculiar part here. This I added, it's just screwed on here. And it is a hand pump. You just pull the lever up and down, and you use it to prime the pump, which I'll talk about in a minute. This handle here dictates whether water can go through into this hose. The way it's set up now, it does. If you turn it, and you have to turn it completely, it won't. It'll stop water from going there, and I'll show you why we want to do that sometimes. All right, so in this, well, let's say it's set up and it stops working. It's been going fine, and then water is not coming out of the sprinklers anymore. Usually that's because the pump has lost its prime, meaning that there's now air in the system instead of pure water. Normally there should be water all through this hose here, and all through this pump, and all into here. But if somehow water has leaked out and now you don't have water in here, maybe air instead, it's not going to work. Why would that happen? Well, it happened this year, for example, because the connection between this big black hose and the foot valve was loose. There was a clamp that got loose. So you need to handle that section a little bit carefully so it doesn't loosen. So that's one reason for a prime to be lost. It's really the main reason, I think. How do you prime it? You need to reprime it if that happens. This is what I do. I shut off the water going upwards. I turn this on so water can actually come through here, and I pump with this. And you got to keep pumping and pumping, and what happens is water is gradually coming up through this from the lake, goes into here, up there, and will gradually come through here, and then start spouting out of there. It's a lot of work actually to get it to happen. You just got to keep doing it. It gets harder towards the end, which is a good sign. It means water is going to come through, and you'll actually see the water starting to come through there because it's fairly transparent. Once that happens, you're primed. So you want to turn this back off, put this back this way so water will go where you want it to go, and you're good to go. And that's really all you have to do to prime the system if it fails, although you want to try to find the cause of the failure. We'll talk about the fall. In the fall, Aqua-Pompe is going to call you, and they're going to say, when should we come? You make an appointment, and they'll come. They can look after everything. Basically what they do is they take the foot pump out of the water, and they pull the hose up. I like to have the hose going right up there so it can really drain. And they blow out the system. They put compressed air through here, so it blows out the sprinklers, otherwise they would freeze. I'm not entirely clear about, I used to know, and I'm not entirely clear how the water that's now coming down from the, you've laid up the foot valve up the hill and water runs down, how it's draining. It's got to be draining through the pump, and how it's exactly getting out, I'm not sure. I used to disconnect it here so that water would just simply drain out there. But it's a big pain with a blowtorch and everything else to get it back on. And it doesn't seem to be necessary. I didn't do it this year. It was connected. I don't think I did it last year. And yet there was no problem. I would speak to Aqua-Pompe and say, are you sure it's going to drain all the water out of the foot valve and out of that big hose down there, which is now up there, without damaging the pump? Water won't accumulate in there. I would ask them about that. So in the fall, you can leave it mostly to them. In the spring, they're going to call and ask if they should come. There's no reason for them to come. All you really need to do is reattach this if it's been detached. It's just a clamp thing. And get that hose back into the water. Just treat it a little gingerly, especially down where it's connected to the foot valve. Just get it into the water and then prime the way we talked about. And once you've primed it, you're good to go. This here I usually take out in the fall and put back in the winter. Just unplug it and plug it. I don't know that it's really probably not necessary to do that. And then I store this in here. And I think that's everything I need to say about the water pump.